Hey guys, this is Gaming with Eli, and welcome, finally, to another Dragon Age Origins Awakening Codex video. First I want to say sorry for everything behind me. I'm a very slow unpacker, and some of those boxes are empty and they still have to go out. But anyway, that's not right. Map. We have a lot. Hopefully we're going to get through all of this. I have water. And I should have time. So, Armored Ogre. The Darkspawn scavenge their armor from the deep roads, from lost taigs, and from battlefields where vast armies once clashed. Typically, only Hurlocks, Shrieks, and Genlocks wear any such protection, ogres being far too large for conventional armor. But occasionally the Legion encounters ogres wearing crude patchworks of breastplates and shields, threaded together with rope and wire. While better than nothing, there are many vulnerable gaps in the assemblage. Thank the ancestors that the Darkspawn and their ghouls make such lousy craftsmen. From the Journal of Cardal, Legionnaire of the Dead. Nice broodmother. Love those things. It is well known that Darkspawn carry off those captured in their raids to underground lairs. Most assume that the prisoners are eaten or somehow tainted and turned into Darkspawn themselves, though this could never account for the sheer numbers of the horde. Forays made by Grey Wardens into the underground have uncovered the answer. When exposed to the Darkspawn taint, men are driven mad and eventually die. Women, however, undergo great pain and gross mutation that cause most of them to perish. Those that survive, however, become the grotesque broodmothers. These giant, twisted behemoths birth many Darkspawn at a time. A single broodmother can create thousands of Darkspawn over the course of her lifetime. Each type of Darkspawn is born from a different broodmother. Humans produce Hurlocks, dwarves produce Genlocks, elves give birth to Shrieks, and from Kunari are born the ogres. The children. The children appear to be twisted mutations of Darkspawn. They have even set Hurlocks, Genlocks, and ogres to fleeing. The monsters appear first as childer grubs, gruesome larval creatures that wriggle on the ground. This is the only vulnerable stage of their development. To squish them is to do the world a favor. When grubs devour the flesh of slain Darkspawn, a dramatic change occurs. To a sound of tearing flesh, legs emerge. The childer can now run down its prey with startling speed. Upon gorging itself again, the childer transforms, developing spindly limbs tipped with spikes that skewer prey. Deep Stalker. A fool trusts his eyes. A wise man fears every rock is a deep stalker. Dwarven saying. Possibly the strangest of all the creatures found in the deep roads is the Deep Stalker. Tespadam, as the dwarfspawn, as the dwarves call them, hunt in packs, generally by burrowing underground and then striking when their prey is in their midst. Stalkers come in several types. Spitters have venom glands that can spit secretions that slow or injure their prey. Jumpers hurl themselves at their targets, knocking them down and making the kill easier. The most common variety scares its prey, leaving the unfortunate victim helpless against the rest of the pack. The Disciples. The Disciples are Darkspawn that have become sapient after some sort of process of awakening. Aha! After which they choose their own names. They are cunning, powerful, and hold influence over non-awakened Darkspawn. The Disciples are split into two factions. Some serve the Architect, some the Mother. Inferno Golem. It's so much better when it's on fire! Centuries ago, during the Dwarven Empire's Golden Age, dwarves commanded vast armies of golems. Golems guarded the taigs and patrolled every branch of the deep roads. As men of steel and stone, they were eternal, indestructible, and perfectly obedient. But Paragon Hiral was not satisfied. He wanted Kal Hiral's golems to be greater. In his forge, he gave them hearts like furnaces that would burn evermore. Thus became the Inferno Golems, with eyes that burned and veins coursing with molten lava. Regular golems! Once a crucial part of Orzammar's defenses, golems have all but vanished as the secret to their manufacture was lost over 1,000 years ago. What few golems remain are guarded closely by the Shaperate, brought out when the battle with the Darkspawn grows desperate enough to risk their loss. No one would sell a golem for any price, but in ancient times, dwarves sold many golems to the Magister Lords of Tevinter. They are devastating weapons in war, living siege engines, capable of hurling boulders like a catapult or plowing through enemy lines like an earthquake. Mabari Warhound. Puppies! Dogs are an essential part of Ferelden culture, and no dog is more prized than the Mabari. The breed is as old as myth, said to have been bred from the wolves who served Dane. Prized for their intelligence and loyalty, these dogs are more than mere weapons or status symbols. The hounds choose their masters and pair with them for life. To be the master of a Mabari anywhere in Ferelden is to be recognized instantly as a person of worth. The Mabari are an essential part of Ferelden military strategy. Trained hounds can easily pull knights from horseback or break lines of pikemen, and the sight and sound of a wave of war dogs, howling and snarling, has been known to cause panic among even the most hardened infantry soldiers. Oh boy. And my nose chooses now to run. Of course it does. I just blew it too. Giant spiders tend to appear in old ruins and other places where the veil has become thin because of magical disturbances or a great number of deaths. In such places, spirits and demons pass into the world of the living and attempt to take control over living beings, spiders among them. Not all scholars accept this explanation for the presence of these beasts, however. Some claim that the thinning veil allows magic to leak from the Fade, tainting such creatures as these spiders to transform into larger and more potent creatures than they ever would become naturally. While such spiders are known to possess powerful poisons and the ability to fling their webs at opponents in combat, studies of them have been few, and the full range of their abilities are unknown. Corrupted spiders are giant arachnids that originally grew in the depths of the deep roads, feeding on numerous species of large bats. When the deep roads were lost to the Darkspawn, they began to feed on the numerous Genlocks, and their numbers grew exponentially, as did their size. The Darkspawn taint has become a permanent part of their system, passed on to their progeny. This has had the effect of increasing their size abnormally, as well as their aggressiveness. Some corrupted spiders have made their lairs in surface forests, but most remain underground, close to their blight-tainted meals. Ignore this. How am I near the end of the DLC and I'm still missing so much in my Codex? I'm pretty close to the end, right? Magic and religion. The faithful travel great distances to see the birthplace of Andraste in Denerim, yet many make their pilgrimage longer still by visiting Amaranthine. After all, it was from the city's port that Mafrath and his army departed to invade the Tevinter Imperium, and the Chantry of Our Lady Redeemer now stands on the site where Andraste first revealed the Chant of Light. This is why the road that joins Amaranthine to Denerim is known as the Pilgrim's Path, and why the Chantry of Our Lady Redeemer is the wealthiest chantry in all of Ferelden. From Annals of Northern Ferelden by Brother Badine, Chantry Scholar. Ugh, having so much trouble. I'm pretty sure... I don't know if I got to the Crown and Line before, so if we read this last time, sorry. Last time was a long time ago. One Saturnalia long ago, a bevy of bards met in Amaranthine to determine whose song best stirred emotion and whose stomachs best digested foul brew. The first bard fell mid-ballad into his barley soup, the second into the lap of a lass most fair. Some say forfeiture was worth the price. The next could not keep his innards inside. One by one, they succumbed to fatigue, boredom, or insobriety. At the end, no man was left standing. There was only I, the lovely and fair Rosalind, master and mistress of the Crown and Lion, who proved that no man is mightier than the slightest of lasses. The Fortress of Calharal. The Fortress of Calharal was established by Paragon Haral and became known as a center of learning for smiths. Its workshops are where Paragon Haral conceived the famous improvements to golem resilience and power, and where Haral's favorite student developed a method restoring refined lyrium that is still used today. These breakthroughs brought Calharal great prosperity, its passageways glittering with gold and silver. For decades, the Tig was the favored home of apprentice smiths. Unfortunately, as time wore on, only the richest could afford to train there. When the Darkspawn came, Calharal was among the first of the great Tigs to fall. Our people still mourn the loss. From the writing of Shaper Ezerine, The Paragon Harral. Paragon Harral was born a warrior. He excelled at arms and strategy, but was not content. Harral believed he was born outside the caste system, able to be anything he chose, a warrior, a smith, even a noble. He would not rest until he'd mastered the art of war, art of smithing, and the art of rule. He was eccentric, maybe even mad. Some said he'd taken too many blows to the head in the provings. Yet Harral accomplished what he set out to do. He trained under the greatest smiths and the greatest warriors, and his achievements in both fields were so great that the assembly could not help but make him a paragon. Thus, noble house Harral was born. From the writings of Shaper Ezrain. The Great Strife. Worn inscriptions deep in the bowel of Vigil's Keep tell of the Avar clan that settled here. Their warriors unmatched in skill and strength, and here we settled in the caves carved by the hand of Korth in the Mountain Father. Ruadan, shaman of the people, turned from the gods who had ever sheltered him. In his grief, he destroyed the gifts of the Mountain Father and brought us low, and Ruadan pursued her. She fled into the earth and prayed to Korth to preserve her. He sent deliverance. They called themselves the Dwarves, and they protected Kayla. Remember Kivial. May Ruadan forever be bound here. Okay. The Vigil. Vigil's Keep is one of the oldest settlements in Ferelden, older than Denerim and Gwarin. The barbarians who battled the Tevinter Imperium chose this location for a fortress, so that their warning fires would be visible at a great distance when Tevinter ships neared the coast. The Vigil has seen battle in every major invasion of Ferelden. Tevinters, rival barbarian clans, and Orlesians have all held her battlements. The Vigil was the first fortress to fall to the Orlesians and the last to be freed. The cellar beneath Vigil's Keep retains traces of Avar barbarians. To the Avars, the Vigil was both a fortress and a holy site. The cellars bear monuments to their gods, heroes, and their rare military victories. The Vigil's cellars connect to the deep roads far below. Evidence suggests the Avars and dwarves traded in secret, a breach of promises made to the Tevinter Imperium in the days before the Darkspawn. Okay. Characters. I'm pretty sure I've read all of the things for Anders. Oghren. Actually, let's read the last couple things for Anders, because who knows. We'll start here. The Warden Commander gave Anders a kitten as a gift. Anders stowed the kitten, Sir Pouncelot, in the folds of his robes. Anders' old friend, Nemaya, revealed that the Templars had moved the phylacteries for most mages in Ferelden, including Anders, to the city of Amaranthine. The warehouse where phylacteries were supposedly stored was actually a Templar trap. Dissa stood with Anders against the Templars, for which the mage was grateful. Anders takes great pride in his appearance and enjoys fine things. For Oghren, Felsi arrived at Vigil's Keep, demanding to see Oghren. Their conversation ended poorly. Oghren confided in the Ward Commander. He admitted to feeling guilt over abandoning his child and resolved to be a better father. Oghren's passion for a strong drink hasn't waned. Alas, Oghren cannot hold off a hangover, let alone an entire army. He died when the Darkspawn sacked the Vigil's Keep. No! No. I refuse to believe this. In my mind, he survived. It's fine. Sorry, I need a minute. That is something we will deal with in the main playthrough. For now. Kristoff's wife, Aura, arrived at Vigil's Keep. Upon realizing what had become of her husband, she accused Justice of desecrating Kristoff's body. This distressed Justice, who insisted on finding a way to ease Aura's pain. Justice visited Aura again later, promising to avenge her husband's death. This pact gave both a measure of peace. Justice likes tokens that remind him of the Fade, as well as items that provide insight into Kristoff's life. Sigrun. A wise man once told me never to argue with someone better armed than the entire warrior caste on parade. Sigrun is a member of the Legion of the Dead, warriors exiled from Orzammar and sent on suicide missions against the Darkspawn. The Warden Commander found Sigrun fleeing a Darkspawn nest in Kal Haral, the last survivor of her group. She has broken the Legion's oath by not fighting to her death. Sigrun joined Dissa to destroy the Darkspawn nest. After Kal Haral was purged of Darkspawn, Sigrun agreed to join the Grey Wardens. She survived the joining. Sigrun is fascinated by the surface world. She collects little curios from all over Thedas. Sigrun met her end fighting Darkspawn at Vigil's Keep, fulfilling her promise to the Legion. Seneschal Varel. I'm pretty sure I've read everything up to tonight. Last, Seneschal Varel was killed in the second Darkspawn assault on Vigil's Keep. B'Elanna likely perished in the second Darkspawn assault. Fuck. That's not okay. Dylon's journal. I'm just gonna read the number, and then, 2. More southern Taigs have fallen. Baron Taig and Kal Barash are overrun. 4,000 lives lost. The Darkspawn are almost at the gates of Kal Haral. The fortress must be evacuated. 4. There will be an exodus to Orzammar. Many nobles are appalled, Orzammar being a trade city so close to the surface. They fear losing their stone sense to the surface vapors. A ridiculous notion, but Orzammar is the easiest to defend. 7. Scouts have sighted the Horde. It is vast. To overrun the Darkspawn, the commanders say we must leave now with nothing beyond bare essentials. 7. Addendum. I have volunteered to remain behind with the contingent of men. We'll hold off the Darkspawn so others can escape. Ancestors have mercy. Yeah, 16. 9. The Castlists are still here, forgotten in the panic. They are 500 strong. If even half can be inspired to fight, they'll make an army. There's a small chance, that this will make the difference. 10. 200 men and women. Ancestors grant that 200 are enough. 15. The Darkspawn have pushed us back to the Inner Keep. Only a handful of us survive, but we've held them back 5 days. We could not have done this without the Castlists. No, not Castlists. To call them Castlists would be a mistake. Their sacrifice must not be forgotten. The Canticle of Mapharoth. These verses were carved in the statues of the Wending Wood. They appear to be from the Canticle of Mapharoth, which the chantry includes among the dissonant verses, unacknowledged in the Chant of Light. Spite ate away all that was good, kind, and loving, till nothing was left but the spite itself, coiled round my heart like a great worm. And in my darkest hour I turned from her and vowed that I would destroy her. At the moment of her death I knew what I had done, and I wept. I shall bring the lands of my fathers to her word. Therein lies their salvation and mine. And she came to me in a vision and laid her hand on my heart. Her touch was like fire that did not burn, and by her touch I was made pure again. Despair not, said she, for your betrayal was Maker blessed, and returned me to his side. I am forgiven. Ancient vows. And so you are defeated by a Var and Dwarf, bound by the blood of your people. May they hold you here forever. That's a letter from the architect, because I don't know if, it's the first thing. Utha, I know this has tested your patience. You first gave your blood years ago to further our common dream. I know at times it seems we're going nowhere. Trust me, Utha, I echo your frustration. Vigil's Keep was a setback, yes, but minor. I intend to keep my promise to you. Perhaps you should venture above ground. The greenery and fresh air would do your spirit good. Scouts report. The defenses have failed and the golems are lost. The way is clear from the pillars of Kadash to Kal Haral. The Darkspawn are 3 days from Kal Haral, 4 at most. Prepare the Taig. Spell combinations. Grease fire. Most forms of grease, magical or otherwise, are highly flammable when grease comes. Oh, like grease traps, maybe? Possibly. That's related. I don't know if this one, so. Carson Wilde's Last Testament. They came to me for help, these 3 maidens of the Black Marsh. They were young, beautiful. Yes. Yes, I did read that. Darren Lyle's missive. Elmore, I found what we've been looking for. Better even. Stop digging and pack up your gear. I'm heading back to camp. Meet me there. We'll go to Amaranthine, find a buyer, and strike it rich. Darren Lyle. Materials for working with golem shells. What a day. First I'll need some wool padding. Working with golem shells can chafe, don't you know? Second, a lyrium potion made by a master to ensure the soul that once inhabited this armor is washed away for good. You wouldn't want that golem coming back, would you? Also some pure iron. Pure, mind you, no imperfections at all. And a packet of ground blood lotus. Maybe some soup? No? No. For Hartwood, those blasted elves didn't write anything down, and the Dalish are positively unfriendly. I could use some oil to make the wood more malleable, some catgut to string the bow, or to make a handle for the shield, and a flawless ruby. Always handy and certainly pretty. One I know, a Grandmaster Lightning Rune. Okay. So that was less than I thought there was going to be, considering how long it's been since the last time. I'm kind of glad that it was this short, because I need a minute. Because I knew I got spoiled for me a little bit by the internet that everyone who was left behind at the keep would die if I chose Amaranthine. But it's still hitting me to see that confirmed. Especially Ogren. Damn it, why is it always the drunk dwarf that is the one to break me? Okay. So we will be continuing next time with the main story, working towards finishing this DLC, and then moving on to Witch Hunt. But for now, if you liked what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Maybe tap that notification bell and share with your friends. See you on the flip side. Eli out.